Welcome to Prime Sports with me, Razak Musbao, and the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations is drawing ever closer, with Ivory Coast staging the finals for the second time after hosting it in 1984. Now, the tournament kicks off on Saturday, tomorrow, January 13, when the host will take on Guinea-Bissau at the Alassane Ouattara Stadium in Abidjan. And guess what? We are just under 24 hours to kick off, and just behind me you can see some 22 hours 25 minutes, and the seconds is counting down. That's the countdown to the start of the AFCON tomorrow, with the opening game between Ivory Coast and Guinea-Bissau. Now 24 teams have been split into 6 groups of 4 teams, and that's where the host nation Ivory Coast find themselves in. And they are in there alongside 3-time champions, Nigeria, Equatorial Guinea, and Guinea-Bissau over there. So, and of course, it contains heavyweight matchup with Mohamed Salah, and then we'll take a look at Group B also. So you can see the groups on your screen there. So Group A, Cote d'Ivoire, they are in there, along with Nigeria, along with Equatorial Guinea and Guinea-Bissau. So first game between Cote d'Ivoire and Guinea-Bissau, the Nigerian Equatorial Guinea will play next. Then in Group B, the most successful team in this tournament, Egypt, having won the tournament 7 times, will be in there. They are in there alongside Ghana, who have won it 4 times, Cape Verde, and Mozambique. In Group C, Senegal, holders Senegal, the reigning champions, they are drawn in there alongside Cameroon. And of course, one of the very exciting fixtures, looking forward to that, Senegal versus Cameroon in there. Then in Group D, you have Algeria in Group D, and they are in there alongside Burkina Faso and Mauritania, then Angola. Of course, you have Tunisia also in Group E, along with Mali, along with South Africa and Namibia. Morocco is also in there. They have won the tournament just once, alongside DR Congo, Zambia, and Tanzania in Group F. So that's how it's looking like as far as the groups are concerned. But 6 stadiums will be used in 5 host cities, with 2 in Abidjan. And we're just going to bring you an up-to-speed on the stadiums that will be hosting this tournament. The Alassane Ouattara Stadium has a capacity of 60,000 people. 60,000 can host 60,000 people. That's the stadium where the opening ceremony itself will take place. Likewise, the opening game over there. So the Alassane Ouattara Stadium, with a capacity of 60,000, will be hosting the opening game over there between Ivory Coast and Guinea-Bissau. Then there is also the Félix Houphouët-Boigny Stadium with a capacity of 33,000. Also in Abidjan, will be hosting some games also in there, and very beautiful stadium you can see over there, 33,000 capacity they've got in there. Then there is also the Stade de la Paix, which will also be hosting some other games there. It's in Yamoussoukro, has a capacity of 40,000, I beg your pardon, has a capacity of 40,000, and is in Bouaké also there. Then there's the Amadou Gon Coulibaly Stadium, with a capacity of 20,000. It is in Kohogo, and we'll also be hosting some games also over there. And the final stadium, of course, is the Laurent Pokou Stadium in San Pedro, and also a capacity of 20,000, also be hosting some games there. And just to mention that all of the stadiums are either new or have undergone renovations ahead of the AFCON, with the government spending some $1 billion on infrastructure projects around the country to make sure that Ivory Coast is able to host the tournament in grand style. Now, John Bafo is a journalist based in Ivory Coast, and he's been keeping tabs on preparations ahead of the tournament, and he joins me via Zoom for the latest on the country's readiness for the opening ceremony tomorrow. John, thank you so much for making time. Just quickly tell us, is the country ready for the opening ceremony tomorrow?
Yeah, thanks for having me on your show. Everyone's really excited about this tournament. This is the first time in 40 years that we've had a major tournament in Ivory Coast, and the expectations are quite high, but they're still measured. I mean, the last time that a West African country hosted an AFCON, they were eliminated in the group stages. So we are trying to ensure that that doesn't happen for Ivory Coast, but we're more than ready then to receive the rest of Africa. All the 24 teams have already arrived. Ivory Coast was already here before, but the rest of the 24 teams have arrived. Some of them with a lot of style and panache, like the Ghana national team have come with some style and panache. I'm sure you saw this also on Twitter. That's one of those things where the social media has been lighting up on it. But in terms of the infrastructure, I've been able to visit all the stadiums, all but one of the stadiums. So the Laurent Pokou Stadium, which is in Saint-Prodo, that's the only one I didn't visit, but I've made the trip all the way up to the north in Korogo and saw all the stadiums from Korogo to Bouaké, down to Yamoussoukro, down to the two ones in Abidjan. Like you mentioned earlier, they've been refurbished or they're new, and looking at them from the inside, the grass is green. The stadium is ready to host, and we're really excited about having AFCON in Ivory Coast this year.
But what about the people, though? How excited and ready are they ahead of their opening game, against Guinea-Bissau? What was the atmosphere like in Abidjan, in Yamoussoukro? I'm sure, particularly in Abidjan, because that's where the opening game will be happening. What's the atmosphere like?
So I'm currently in Abidjan, and I've been living here for the last 5 years, and I haven't really felt this kind of energy and electric atmosphere in the city since I moved here in 2018. Everyone is wearing some jerseys by night. They've been able to set up some lights, which will promote the AFCON, lights with figures of people playing football balls all over the city. And then by day, there are also flags of CAF and Ivory Coast. And you also see sporadically on people's houses, flags of the nations that they represent. You have to know that Abidjan particularly, and then Côte d'Ivoire in general, is a country where a lot of people from the subcontinent or the sub-region have moved to. So we have a lot of Burkinabés, we have a lot of Senegalese, and then we also have a strong Ghanaian community that is based in Abidjan as well. So everyone's really excited to support their team, and if their team doesn't go through, we'll all jump on another bandwagon for another team.
Well, interesting. We're just going to take a look at the first round of fixtures in the AFCON. Of course, the first game is between Ivory Coast and Guinea-Bissau, but that's not the only games happening in the first round of fixtures. So yeah, that's the first one, Ivory Coast versus Guinea-Bissau, happening tomorrow. And, the opening game there in Group A, part of the action in Group A. And it'll be the only game on Saturday. And then the action continues on Sunday. The action continues on Sunday, where the fixtures will also be happening. Of course, you see Nigeria play Equatorial Guinea, still in the action in Group A. That's when it will end. Nigeria playing Equatorial Guinea. And then later in the evening in Group B, the action starts with Egypt playing Mozambique on Sunday. So just keep that on your calendar. And then there will be the action later in the evening on Sunday with Ghana also taking on Cape Verde. That will wrap up the action on Sunday. Then the action also continues on Monday with the other games in Group C, Senegal playing Gambia. Then you have Cameroon playing Guinea. Exciting games to look forward to. Then on Monday, we wrap it up with Algeria versus Angola. And another exciting game happening there. Then Tuesday, Burkina Faso, Mauritania, Tunisia versus Namibia. These are all the first round of fixtures happening across the groups. That's Group E, starting with Tunisia versus Namibia there in Group E on Tuesday. Then we end with Mali versus South Africa. Exciting game you should look forward to. Morocco and Tanzania starts on Wednesday and continues with DR Congo versus Zambia. And we'll wrap up with the first round of fixtures in the AFCON over there. Well, Fifi Manfred has now joined me, and John Bafo is still on Zoom. And guys, let's talk about the first round of fixtures. I mean, exciting stuff. But John, let me just get your thoughts on that first game between Ivory Coast and Guinea-Bissau. Interesting data. Ivory Coast will be playing their 100th game in the AFCON in that game. And in fact, I was just looking at the statistics, and they haven't lost an opening game in the last 12 editions of the tournament. The last time they lost an opening game was against Ghana, when Ghana defeated them 2-0 in the 1990s. So it almost looks like a win for Ivory Coast is almost inevitable. John, is that what the feeling is like in Ivory Coast?
That's certainly the feeling that most people in Ivory Coast have. We believe that, I asked about 10 people today, and most of them said a 2-0 win, an easy win, but they need to also still come out and perform on the pitch. It's been hard for people who have been hosting AFCON to go and retain the title, or to host and win, like we like to say it. Ivory Coast is a two-time AFCON champion. And since 1982, the host countries have only won 5 editions out of 19 editions of AFCON. So it's important that they get a really fast start, and perform well and win this first game against Guinea-Bissau. But it's not going to be an easy feat for them to do. But for them to be able to have any hopes of winning this AFCON that they're hosting, they need to really perform in the first game and then move on and try to win the group.
Or if I ask you which of the games will interest you in the first round, you're going to mention Ghana versus Cape Verde. But let me exempt Ghana versus Cape Verde. Which other games will interest you in the first round of fixtures?
I'll be going to the opening game on Saturday. So tomorrow I'll be going to the Ivory Coast versus Guinea-Bissau. But more than the first Ghana game, I think that the second game is going to be a key game. Ghana versus Egypt. That's going to be key to determine who is going to be able to progress out of that group. Ghana need to ensure that against Cape Verde that they come back with some points, be it a draw and ideally a win, and then have a good performance against Egypt. Performing well in their first game, and then more importantly, scoring goals, which has been very difficult for Ghana recently, will give them the confidence to be able to perform well in the second match against Egypt. And we're really excited about that. We'll also be at the stadium. And
we seem to have just lost John Barfoot there. But Fifi Manfred is on the line. Fifi, let me just get your thoughts on the first round of fixtures, though. Which of the games will interest you the most?
Thank you very much, Musbao. I'm very much interested in Group A. The host nation, Ivory Coast. They are one of the first few countries to host the AFCON and not qualify from their group stage. And countries like Tunisia had done worse after them. So also in Group A, Equatorial Guinea, Nigeria, and then Ivory Coast are 3 teams that anytime that they've been placed in groups as paired together, all of them have qualified from the group stages. So you look at the job that the Equatorial Guineans are doing. You look at their coach, Misha Obiang, and how good they've been. For me, they are the wild cards in the group. Of course, the overwhelming favorites are the Nigerians and then the Ivorians. But the Equatorial Guineans have also proven to be very good. Mind you, 2012, they went to the quarterfinal. They've been to the AFCON for 4 times. In all of the times that they've been in the AFCON, they've qualified from their group stage. In 2021, when they co-hosted with the Cameroonians, they were 4th in the competition. So they are not a team that you can just brush away. If there is a slight mix-up between any of the 2 favorites, Ivory Coast or Nigeria, I tell you, they will pounce on it and they will take the opportunity and go through. Of course, Ivory Coast, Nigeria in the second game is going to be a big one also in terms of shaping up the group. And if anything goes wrong, the Equatorial Guineans will go through. But also, the Guinea-Bissau team that are going to play against Ivory Coast did beat Nigeria in the qualifications by a goal to 0. It tells you that they're a very strong team. It tells you that they know what they're about on the African continent. So yeah, I'm excited about the opening ceremony, the whole competition. But tomorrow is going to be a mouth-watering one between the Elephant of Ivory Coast and, of course, the Guinea-Bissau team.
I mean, Fifi, finally, though, you are one man who loves tactics. I mean, in terms of tactics or any other thing you would like to talk about, what is your general expectation ahead of this tournament? What are you really looking forward to in this tournament? In maybe 30 seconds.
So with respect to tactics, the African Cup of Nations is a little bit funny because you need more than just tactics. I've seen that in recent times, our competition comes off the back of a lot of zeal and then combative way of playing. So you need a tactics, but then there's supposed to be that zeal and the combativeness and the dwelling ability of all the teams because it's physical down here on the continent. I'm looking at teams like Ivory Coast, who have a very, very nice way of going to play. They have a very exciting three at the back system. Osmani Diamonde, Evan Indika of AS Roma, and then you look at Willy Bolly of Wolves, then their central midfield pair, Frankie and Kessing. Like it's a well-balanced side. Then Nigeria on the other side of the conversation where they are finding it hard to find attacking balance with Boniface, Oshime, Karim, Ademola Lukman, all the other attackers in their ranks, but they are not getting their balance. So it's going to be exciting, even with respect to tactics and even the combativeness of the nature of the competition.
I mean, guys, we're going to have lots of discussion on the AFCON. It just starting tomorrow, and we are counting down 22 hours and 9 minutes to the opening game tomorrow. And of course, on Joy News and Joy Sports, trust us to bring you all the latest. Guys, thank you so much, John. Thank you, Fifi. And we'll keep in touch in the course of the tournament and talk a lot more about it. Well, let's come down to Ghana because Richmond Lamte's career was almost shattered after being handed a 2.5-year ban by the Ghana FA Disciplinary Committee for alleged involvement in a match-fixing scandal. Few months on, the Kotoko midfielder has turned his fortunes around and currently in contention to feature for the Black Stars at the Africa Cup of Nations. Haruna Mubarak, my colleague, has the rest of this story in a special report.
Lamte now stands on the pinnacle of his career, being part of the Black Stars in Ivory Coast for the upcoming Africa Cup of Nations. But the road was never easy. Lamte's story is woven with threads of hard work and dedication. In the serene corners of his infancy, Lamte's passion for the beautiful game became apparent.
In Accra, he would hold a ball in front of him as he crawled. When he began to walk, he would hold my finger and drag me along while chasing the ball. Then I realized he had passion for football.
Transitioning from those quiet corners, Lamte embarked on a trajectory that shaped his skills. After joining Feyenoord Academy in Pram Pram, he later signed for Wafa before finding his footing at Inter Allies.
When he arrived at Inter Allies, he was a little bit raw, so I have to teach him being a midfield player, playing as a central player. I think you have to advance more so that you get hold of the ball and you can make some goals. You know, as a midfield player, if you cannot make goals, it means your talent is being reduced. So he experienced so many things from me. I have to teach him how he will spread the ball. As a midfielder, how you spread the ball to your strikers to score. And from Inter Allies, I think he moved to Ashanti Kotoko, and he has now become a finished product.
The Porcupines, recognizing Lamte's prowess, secured him on a 3-year deal in September 2021. His impact was immediate, playing a pivotal role in Kotoko clinching the Premier League title for the first time since 2014. Then, the narrative took a somber turn. A match-fixing scandal involving Inter Allies and Ashanti Gold led to a 30-month ban imposed by the Ghana Football Association's disciplinary committee, threatening to derail Lamte's promising journey.
At the time, I felt immense sadness that such an innocent child was banned. I was deeply concerned about what he was going to do. He wasn't answering my calls, and I feared he might harm himself.
He was not mentally stable. The setback was significant for him.
It kills his morale. It kills everything that he got from him as a player. When you have that moments in your career as a player, it demoralizes you. Sometimes you want to quit football because it's a disgrace. Your name goes to everywhere in the world that you have been banned. You are match fixing. And
Asante Kotoko took up the mantle, passionately pursuing justice at the Court of Arbitration for Sports.
When the issue came up, we heard that PFAG had filed a case on behalf of the players at the Court of Arbitration for Sports. We took the list. I, as an administrative manager, first of all, went into the issue, saw that Richmond's name had been omitted. And so I informed the CEO at the time, Nanaya Amponsa. I informed him that unfortunately Richmond's name is out. And then he told me that, Ima, we have to do the case for the boy. I said, once he agrees, we should do it. Then I told him the cost implications and all that if we are filing the case. And he said, no problem, we should do it for the boy.
Their unwavering pursuit of justice bore fruit after 363 days, leading to an overwhelming sense of relief.
It was the very day the verdict came out. The very day the verdict came out, I'd never seen a human being scream that way. I mean, I've not seen a human being scream that way. Fortunately, when the verdict came out, I was in Accra. He was in Kumasi. I was in Accra when the verdict came out. I was with the CEO at the time, and we were together when the verdict came out, and he was screaming.
One day, he came here, seated on a chair, and we heard that the ban was lifted. He shed tears of joy.
To themselves, gets lumped in now. He's got space in front of him. Tries to catch through in the middle. That was a mistake. Attacking play from Asante Kotoko.
After a string of stellar performances that propelled Kotoko to third place in the ongoing season, just 3 points below league leader Samatex, Lamptey reached a turning point in his career.
Richmond, Mohammed Kudos.
Hey,
I was extremely excited about Black Stars collab. We thank God.
It's an honor, and it feels good. I'm very happy. And first of all, I would like to thank Asante Kotoko, His Royal Majesty Otunfo Setutu, and the past and present management, and then the supporters and my teammates.
Lamptey is currently in Abidjan with his teammates in preparation for Ghana's opener against Cape Verde on Sunday. Many eagerly await the chance to see him feature and showcase his abilities on the grand stage of African football.
We just pray that he gets his time to showcase his talent. Whatever be the case, he will be Lamptey. I just pray and hope that he stays well, very healthy.
When you give Lamptey that opportunity, he's going to spread the ball out. He's going to join attack and make goals for Naki Williams and all the strikers to score.
Goalkeeper is always difficult for attackers to get on the end of it because the least contact with the goalkeeper is a foul.
Awesome! Brilliant goal! Inter Allies have broken the deadlock. Richmond.
An absolute pitch of a goal scored at the Accra Sports Stadium against Hearts of Oak marked Richmond's rise into the limelight. The ban by the FA's disciplinary committee threatened to dim the light, but to no avail. It's a testament of his ability to turn pain into purpose. setback into a comeback, personifying the never give up spirit, which could inspire other footballers. Haruna Mubarak for Joy Sports.
That's all we have for you on Prime Sports. Do have a lovely evening.